Welcome, everyone, to Rutgers at the voice of college football. This is the Postgame show. After Rutgers comes out with a 60-10 victory over Michael Vick and Norfolk State, I'm here with my fantastic co-host, Gabriel Pickup. We're going to talk about the games, the good things, the things we need to work on, and look ahead to the Hawkeyes. We're off 3-0 on the season, looking good so far. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm happy with how we performed today. Unfortunately, it was once again a bit of a tough start for the defense. But ultimately, like in a lot of games for Rutgers, since Greg Schiano came back, 2 blocks in the first quarter be instantly returned for touchdowns on punts to put us up, 13-0, because Patel also in turn had his extra point blocked. But look, on both sides of the football, there was a clear talent discrepancy, and it was quite evident, and I'm nothing but ecstatic about the fact that we won 60-10. And, it's kind of a Schiano, best case scenario where you win by 50 points and you still have things you can work on. There's 2 sides to this. On one side, you won 60-10, is that going to be able to fly against teams that we're facing now? Because, I said after week 1 against Ohio that this is sort of the preseason of football for us. And, there's no preseasons in college football, and this sort of is one. And, mission complete when it comes to that. We got the preseason out of the way. And these are the big boys with all, that's 3 weeks of learning experience wins that we can take with us. So I'm happy in that aspect.
Yeah, certainly happy that we're 3-0 on the season. Victories over Ohio, who today is playing Ohio State. I don't know if we have a score on that game. I suspect it was fairly lopsided. And then defeating Miami. And now Norfolk State, coached by Michael Vick. And,
it's only 3-0 after quarter 1.
Oh, well, Parker Navarro, you never know. He could give him some trouble. Pittsburgh Husker, welcome. Thanks so much for being here. All right, so my thoughts on the game. All right, it's a 60-10 victory, so broad points. But I'm still seeing some issues that I think can cause us trouble going forward against teams like Iowa, Minnesota, Washington, Illinois, Oregon, Penn State, and Ohio State, of course. Norfolk State rushed for over 100 yards against us. Now, this was a Norfolk State team, that lost to Towson and only beat Virginia State, a Division II school, by 3 points. They were getting 128 rushing yards against us on our home field and averaging 4.5 yards per play. That, to me, is what I would say inferior talent. But if that inferior talent is able to manage 4.5 yards per play and 128 rushing yards on the game, I think, we got to focus on areas like that need to be improved. And it comes back to what I've been saying, defense.
Yeah, what I have been happy about, or I was happy about after this game at least, was how the second unit performed. They came in, they got 2 scores. Shout out Dino Kaliakmanis, by the way, because on Monday's show I said, he also had a touchdown. He had his 1 catch, an impressive haul in for a touchdown in the middle of the red zone. And, our whole receiving core in general, I was very impressed with. DT had the dropped pass, and then the very next play, he converted on the 3rd down, similar route. He had 3 catches for 79 yards. And DT's playing well, but he's still not playing to the best of his abilities. And so that excites competition moving forward. What else impressed me? Not even impressed me, but more so delighted me, was the fact that Colin Weber, he only had 2 catches for 17 yards, but both catches were on the first drive to set the tone against Norfolk State that, hey, we're not going to just be throwing to the quote-unquote big 3, even though Ian Strong's out this game. You replace him with Ben Black. We're going to be spreading the ball out. We're going to be giving 10 different guys the football. And KJ Duff, 6 catches, his first career 100-yard reception game. He had 119 yards. But it wasn't just the catches that he did make, or how many, is like it looked almost DeAndre Hopkins-esque, where he like caught the ball, but it looked like he was doing a crab walk out of bounds, and they called it a catch, and it stood. He had another ball up the middle towards the right that he caught. I was very impressed with KJ, and I think I can say for sure that he's going to make the NFL one day.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, as usual, there were some great plays on offense. The offense, clearly the strength of the team. Ethan Kaliakmanis continues a third very good effort, high completion percentage, 18 of 26 for 309 yards and a touchdown. You know, Ethan clearly has grown and really addressed the factor last year's percentage in the low 50s is now in the 70s. So, you know, he deserved.
And you know what impressed me about Ethan?
Yeah.
He had a point in, I think it was early in the third quarter, where he missed a guy, right? He threw over him, and he was pissed. I saw that in his face. He screamed at the ground. He was pissed. He fell to 12 of 20 passing on the day, and he had 100, like a low 100 yards, like I want to say like 120-ish, and he finished the day 6 passes in a row for 180 yards.
Yeah, you got to give him a lot of credit.
So that impressed me. He had his first adversity of the season.
Yeah, he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's got that motivation, and he wants to be, you know, one of the best quarterbacks in the Big Ten, and he so far is doing that. And like, you know, Pitt's not 3 games. We had a trap game against Ohio. We went against a pretty good Miami team. We come out 3-0. And even though there's things to work on, it's always better to work on things from 3-0 rather than having something in the loss column.
3-0
AJ Cereso,
the 5th time in a row, by the way. First time.
And now it's time to turn that page and get over that hump, because the Iowa game next week is the Nebraska game of last year.
Yeah.
4 for 7 passing, 58 yards. Now,
yeah,
the running back room, again, great depth and, again, good balance. 16 carries for 79 yards for Antoine Raymond, 2 touchdowns, 4.9 yards per carry average. Jashawn Benjamin, great game, 12 carries, 68 yards, 5.7 average, and a touchdown. Now, C.J. Campbell had 1 carry for 3 yards. Do we know what that's about? Was he injured?
He got injured on one of the – I think it was his first play. He got injured. Didn't come back. Jashawn subbed in.
I think the one part of the game I missed was that.
There were a lot of injuries, unfortunately. And, you know, C.J. Campbell was injured. Ian Strong was out for undisclosed reasons. He was on the sidelines, so I assume it was some sort of injury or, you know, maybe some sort of resting on a probable injury or a questionable. Right. Tyler Needham got hurt. Dante Chin, as I posted on the Voice of College Football Rutgers account, out for the year. Vernon Allen III, who looks great in the spring game, came in, caught a pass, and then got injured. He's one of the second unit guys. So we had 6 pieces of injury news today, and that's one of the things that you said coming into this game is what can we learn, right? And one of the things we said was you can't get injured. We can't have injuries, and that's 6 guys that got injured.
How serious do you think these injuries are in terms of their impact on the team?
Ian Strong will be fine. He was walking around fine. I think it was just precautionary. Tyler Needham, TBD. Obviously, Dante Chin's out for the year. Vernon Allen, he's on the second string. He's a freshman. The one that worries me is C.J. Campbell. But that's not to say we don't have put up his usual Antoine Raymond numbers so far. But C.J. being hurt, that's scary. And it was not a great looking injury either.
Yeah, I know. And it's funny. The 5 minutes of the game I missed, there's a major injury. Let's hope it's not that serious because he's a really talented back. But there were bright spots today. 19 yards. DT, 3 catches, 79 yards. And Ben Black, 3 catches, 56 yards and a touchdown. At the half, we're ahead 26-3. You know, I guess the game went as we expected. There's a talent disparity. But, again, I'm going to come back to let's look at this year and let's rewind to last year. Last year we're 3-0. We're heading to Lincoln, Nebraska. We lose 14-7 in a game that I think otherwise that could have been won. We have the same situation now, except it's at home against Iowa.
Well, the pass defense was great. It was the rush defense that was questionable today. We showed Norfolk State that they can't really compete with our secondary. I saw a lot of opportunities that were balls batted away by Bo Masco, and Jacoby headed against Otto Coons before he went out for that play for the couple plays.
Right.
But the rushing, Kevon King, 7 carries, 56 yards, and he got their only touchdown of the day. Xavier Evans, 8 carries, 52 yards. So that's 8 yards per carry and 6.5 yards per carry between the two backs on 15 attempts. So it's the running. It's, replace the past 2 weeks of mobile quarterbacks between Parker Navarro and Daquan Finn with running backs instead of mobile quarterbacks. And you see the same problem. You see us not being able to communicate in the middle of the play, and there's 3 to 4 yard gaps that these guys are taking advantage of. It's not the tackling, it's the scheming. We're giving up holes on the defense, and that's what I think needs to be fixed.
Yeah,
I mean, if we keep running like this, then Penn State's going to rush for.
Yeah, and that's my concern. As happy as I am about being 3-0, and as happy as I am about what we've shown on offense, and let's not forget about that great offensive line. What a great game for those guys. Defense is a concern, and I think this is the week where Coach Giano's got to challenge that defense. We've got a lot of transfers, so I understand a lot of these guys haven't played together, but we're on the 4th game now, and we got these transfers for a reason. We have the talent on the defensive line. We got to get more pressure on the quarterback, and we got to stay disciplined. We got to stop the run, because Iowa is not Miami, Ohio, or Norfolk State. I don't know what the answer is. What do you think?
I think offensively it might be Norfolk State and Miami of Ohio. It's just their defense is Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon. So to me, it's almost like they're the inverted version of us this year. Like, which side will cancel which side out more dominantly? Is our offense going to be good enough to compete with their, or is our defense going to be able to slow down a team that is slow enough? So it's almost like we're taking it baby steps at a time. Ohio has probably been our best competition so far. At least that's what the box score says. And last year they won 7 in a row. To end the year, they bring back a lot of guys. And with that being said, Iowa is a great defense, but that's the first challenge, right? Can we put up 30, 40, 50 points against a great defense? Even 20. Can we put up 20 again?
Yeah, and they say, as they say, styles make fights. Well, styles sometimes make football games, because Rutgers has obviously a very solid offense, and it could be one of the best in the Big Ten if they keep up like this. But now they're going against the defense that's not going to allow them to score 60 at most. On the other hand, Iowa's offense, like as always, not very good, but our defense is our weak spot. So are we going to make Iowa's offense look a little bit better than they normally are, and is our defense going to make our offense look a lot worse next week? I mean, if Norfolk State's getting 4.5 yards a play, that's something.
Yeah, honestly, the difference could be special teams next week. If our offense and their if our offense and their defense kind of negate each other, and then our pedestrian defense and their pedestrian offense cancel out. If it's 17-17, 10-10, 13-13 in the fourth quarter, who can get the big play? And statistically, over the past 3 years, we have been the team to get the big play. So outside of a few Hail Mary passes that we were on the wrong side of, we have been that team. So that's what I'm looking for. It's funny because it was kind of a meme for a while, like, oh, who's the number one team in punt blocks? It's Rutgers since 2022, haha. And then we see this year, we have 3 already. We have 3 in 3 weeks. We have, on average, a punt block a week, touchdowns in the first quarter. So we can do this. That's an area that I look to kind of push on, all week long. Say, like, this is what we got to keep doing. Study their punting unit, because they're an offense that on paper should be punting the ball a lot. You hope that they punt the ball a lot. And that's what I study if I'm Rutgers, if I'm Greg Schiano.
Yeah, and I think, ultimately, like we've said on previous shows, games like this that are going to be close, it's the little things and the intangible things that are going to matter. Special teams, time of possession, turnover, conversions, all that stuff is really going to be at the forefront, because there's not going to be that talent disparity. So this is really going to be Rutgers' first test of the season. And at this point, based on their performances so far, I would say this year is probably the best year we've had in several years.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, so far I would say we're at about an A- for expectations versus reality. We've only had one panic week, and it was in a win. We're actually the underdogs this week against Iowa. We're supposed to lose. Well, it's 1.5. That's what the spread is. Iowa minus
1.5.
Yeah. So they have us in it,
Yeah.
but they have Iowa winning. Who knows what the spread will be now, though? Who knows how Iowa is going to perform tonight against who are they playing? Miami of Ohio? Is that who it is?
That's a great question.
It's the game right after us, so they're playing right now on Big Ten Network.
Okay, so I'm going to look that up, because if they're playing Miami of Ohio, that's a common opponent. No, they're playing University of Massachusetts, and they're up 7.
Okay, UMass. They're gonna give UMass a whooping. Okay. So.
Yeah, they're playing the Norfolk State, a similar team to Norfolk State.
UMass they were ranked 135th out of 136 on that CBS poll.
Really? That's just terrible.
Yeah, I mean,
that's just terrible.
Who knows? I don't think Vegas gives us the edge, anyways. Even if it is close, I still think they think that Iowa wins.
Yeah, well, a 1.5 point spread. Essentially they're saying the talent's even. It's up for grabs. It's going to come down to the little things, the special teams, the time of possession, the turnovers, and I think time of possession is going to be one of the biggest factors, because if Iowa's defense is this game in the fourth quarter, and I think we can do that. And right now I'm looking at something like a 23-17 victory for Rutgers, but I'm going to think about it for a few more days. Also, an update.
We're trailing at half because we get off to slow starts.
We get off to slow starts. Yeah, it's like we're a tale of two halves in the first 3 games. We got to put together 2 solid halves and have that consistency throughout. So, what are your 3 biggest takeaways from today's game?
Well, definitely that the receiving core is, or not the receiving core, but just the offense in general is deep. Because I mentioned that CJ Campbell and Ian Strong are out for most of the game, if not the entire game for Strong, and we still put up 60 points. And both of us had it like in the 40s, maybe 50, and we exceeded this. That our run defense needs to have more linebacker involvement, because Eric O'Neill had 5 tackles. He had 2.5 tackles for loss. Jordan Walker had the other half of the tackle for loss. Jordan Thompson had a tackle for loss. Bradley Weaver had another half. But guys like Jabone, Denagohi, they're not getting the tackles for loss. They're only getting 2 tackles each, which sounds dandy, but they're linebackers. They should be getting 4 or 5 tackles. So that's takeaway number 2, is that the linebackers need to get more involved in the run defense. That Eric O'Neill, there was a lot of pressure on the front 4 to contain the run, but they're doing the best they can against the pass too, and they finally are getting the sacks. Takeaway number 3 is that Ethan Kaliakmanis had his first adversity and he overcame it, and that excites me. Yeah, you look at the opponent in Norfolk State and you say, "What's the big deal?" But 12 of 20 is fine. But he completed his next 6 passes for like around 180 yards, and AJ Surris, he went 0 of 2 to start the game, got them 58 yards to end the game, and so I'm happy about quarterback adversity being overcame.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely great points. I think for me, the first takeaway is Ethan really has grown, and he has a different quarterback than he was last year. And if he brings that consistency against Iowa, that could be the difference. Second thing is the offensive line. Offensive line is consistently, open holes for those running backs, and really has made us a balanced offense to, keep up the momentum and get some pressure on Iowa's quarterback next week. And look, when you combine that with the little things, I think Rutgers has the ingredients to be successful next week. They're going to have to execute, and they're going to have to be consistent, and they're going to have to win. Those third and shorts, fourth and shorts, turnover, battle time of possession. If they do that, I think Rutgers is in for what might be a season-defining win.
Yeah, it's a must-win if you want to keep any sort of playoff hope alive, which I'm sure this group is striving for. No one can tell them differently. Shout out to Mashoud Giwa, too, out of LI, riding the bench for a while.
Yeah.
And, Tyler Needham gets hurt. Dante Chin is hurt. And he steps in, and Antoine Raymond scores another rushing touchdown. Jashawn Benjamin scores a rushing touchdown. He really held it down, especially in a position where we had depth and now we lack it. That is a huge addition to this offensive line.
Absolutely. Congratulations to him and that offensive line. Well, so here we go. We turn the page on North AM. We will be right back here to preview the Iowa game. And, of course, next Saturday after the game, we'll have our post-game show. And the Iowa game essentially is a new start to the season and a slate of very challenging games. It's going to be exciting from week to week, as are our shows. So any final thoughts?
This is where the real season begins. This is our postseason already. Week 4, this is the postseason.
Absolutely. And it's going to be exciting. Can't wait to next Saturday. We'll see everyone back here Monday evening at 7 p.m. If you like the show, hit that like and subscribe button. As always, congratulations to the Scarlet Knights.
Go Scarlet Knights.